There we go. Okay, oh, I cannot see the chat because there's a great big Twitch cookies thing. Sure, yeah, accept cookies, let me go. Right, cool, thanks. Right, we have here today, we got XLR action, tier 2, in Canada. Gonna be interesting to see who can keep it within the white lines. Feel like we're gonna see many track limits violations. Oh, and it's raining. It is absolutely chucking it down. That is full wet conditions for sure.
Reminds me of home.
Right, no one is preparing to drive out yet. I'm just running up the order seeing who's in first gear. Because if they're in first gear, it means they've pressed the drive out button. So far, I think everyone's adjusting their setups for the wet. I'm not sure if they're racist dry though.
And it is going to be just a short qualifying as we only have 13 drivers partaking today.
Still no one heading out. I think everyone is trying to adapt their setups.
Adam is currently in provisional pole position.
He has the lowest number, I assume. I know, not I assume, I know, because I literally did an experiment about that this morning. Adam for the win. Yeah, we have Giannuzzi and tech support in the chats so far. Oh, okay, we finally got some action. That's Snato first out on track. No, it's not. It's Bleep. It's the first driver on the track. Oh my god. Yeah, so you got... Oh, has left the session. Just things. He probably requires an invite, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, while everyone is just on an outlap, let's invite him back. Where is There he is, there you go. Dry race, wet quali. So everyone's going to be on dry setups here.
Could get a little sketchy for...
It could indeed.
Especially with Canada having quite a few high traction zones.
Yeah.
A lot of low gear corners. You could see a lot of drivers facing the wrong way around in the 18 minutes. Well, in the 16 minutes we have left, but in this 18-minute short qualifying session.
Yep. So Bleep will be the first driver on the track. I believe Kyle, and are the only two to have not left the garage yet. Got Bleep just starting his flying lap now. Oh, he's had a slide on the rear end already. Just shows how difficult these conditions are right now. Take it. Solid is quiet again. Okay, my bad. Adam's gamer tag is Loyal Gamer. He's the Alfa Romeo. If F1 will function as a game should. There we go. Okay, so it should not be quite as quiet anymore. I'm not sure. Right, we got Bleep doing a 24.8 through the first sector. Hearts will be the next to cross that sector 1 split, doing a 25.2. So Bleep is already 4/10 up. That is the wrong person. That is Snato.
But Frosted Cheese went faster. He did a... Oh, he's invalidated those Frosted Cheese. He was purple.
Oh, it's a lot of sliding on the rear end there for... what's it? Oh, someone's just gone straight on. That's a Ferrari. What? Oh, he's gone into the runoff. I think that's a Paro. Gone straight on to get out of Bleep's way. Had a bit of a moment at the second or third chicane. I'm not entirely sure which. Right, into the... Oh, he's invalidated. Bleep has invalidated his lap at the final chicane. So the first across the line will be Hearts. Bleep just took a bit too much curb and it was straight off. Hearts goes fastest with a 26.0. A Paro and Frosted Cheese, both with invalid laps, and Snato as well. So track limit's already proving difficult. Luke goes fastest with a 25-watt, 9/10 up. So you got a tiny bit of an echo. I can just hear that. It's not too bad, but it's a tiny bit. Oh no, is that a slow Mercedes? I'm not entirely sure. There was a yellow flag in the first sector. The the Mercedes goes even faster by half a second. Jay-Z slots himself into 5th, just a 10th behind his Mercedes teammate. Believe is not on the push lap. I think that is, and surely the drivers are going to want to get as consistent lapping in as they can. But I don't think any. Oh, Hutz has just looped it there at the hairpin.
Yeah, they probably would have put in a bit more fuel than usual. So
Hutz doesn't have any fuel.
To be... Oh, well, you'd have thought they would have put in more fuel to go in more runs. That tends to be.
Yeah, I think Aparo is going to go for a second run here. He's certainly not pushing on this one. I think Frosted Cheese is pushing here. Oh, it's a bit of a slide on the last corner. It's clearly a difficult traction zone in these conditions. He goes second. I've just received an invite from Om. I don't think that's what he meant to do. Maybe he's trying to say that he wants an invite. I'm not sure. There we go. I'll give him an invite. There we go. We've got Aparo on just starting the lap now. Kyle with a 24-1. Very nice lap there from the Mercedes, displacing his teammate at the top. It is a Mercedes 1-2 as it stands. Got Jay-Z, who is not coming into the pits. I thought he was going to be. Oh, he's invalidated his lap. Before he even started, Jay-Z has invalidated his flying lap. We got Rocky, who is not pushing right now.
Bleep is on a push lap at. Well, I would say that, but he has just crashed.
And Om has left the session again. I think Om's internet is down.
And Adam just beginning a flying lap at the moment. He is just through the first bit, although he goes wide into turn 1. That'll cost him a lot of time for sure.
Oh, that's a struggling on the traction. It is a difficult traction zone, let alone in the wet. Oh, he's gone straight on. This is not going to be a competitive lap for Adam. He's made many mistakes already, and he's just in the first sector. And that is going round. He seems to floor that mid-corner.
That is at the second chicane. Well, actually, it might be the third chicane. It's a chicane. He's got.
Yeah, that's the third one. He just seemed to get frustrated and try to put the power down too quickly or something. I'm not entirely sure. That is a Ferrari Frosted Cheese who is off at the how have you gone off there? I'm not entirely sure how he's done that, but he's off on the before even the corner. Bleep is going on the inters. I've just seen that. Bleep is currently on the intermediate tyre. And Rocky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Posting the third fastest time. And no, they can Teeks, I don't know, at the Mercedes, he considered the inters, but then he went back onto the wet compound. Adam just finishing his lap. That's not a competitive lap with those many mistakes. He's gone a bit too deep into turn 1 yet again though. Hearts has not improved there, I don't think. Rodriguez has invalidated his lap and is going slowly. Rocky is going slowly.
And Adam has just destroyed his rear right corner. He just tipped it coming into the first chicane. That is turn 3.
That's just the second chicane.
Spun round on him.
Yeah, that's
the first chicane.
No, the first chicane's...
Turn 3.
First chicane's this one where Carl's going through. That's the first chicane. I'd consider that to be a chicane.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah. We'll just call it turn 3.
Yeah. I'd consider it to be the second chicane. Or you can call it Vettel Corner if you want to annoy voting. And also speedrun getting yourself banned from the league.
Yeah. Just constantly find the Ferrari's mistakes around the
Exactly.
track. Sonato is actually on a flying
Yeah,
lap
Sonato.
at the moment.
Yeah, that's fastest through the first sector. Last week's race winner on his first race in XLR, despite jumping the start as well, might I add. Got the drive-through, surfed the drive-through, and then cut his way back through the field and managed to just about hold off the charging Giannuzzi on fresh tyres to win in Miami. So let's see if he can repeat that winning form through the hairpin towards the end of his flying lap. And we've also got Kyle just ending. No, that's going into the pits, never mind. I thought Kyle was on a push lap, but he is into the pits. Sonato through the final chicane. He seems to have hooked that round nicely. Comes up to the line. Goes fastest! Almost over half a second. Maybe track conditions are improving a bit. Although I don't think it's enough for the inters, which Rocky has just gone out on.
That's a suicidal move, I feel.
So this will be important data. How the hell do we have 13 viewers? This will be important data for the other drivers. We've got Rocky on the intermediate compound. First driver to gamble on them. So that bleep on the... No, Sato. Going past him. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with these intermediate tyres, because no one else has dared them. A few drivers have skipped over them in the menus but decided against them, but he has seriously gone for a flying run on these tyres.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can actually keep it within the white lines and keep it pointing the right way around, as certainly hasn't done that, as he has spun round on the exit of turn 14.
There's yellow flags literally everywhere right now.
A lot of that is also for just drivers driving
just
generally slowly,
which is on an out lap or an in lap. Sonato has, that's retired in the pit lane, I think. Or maybe... Oh no, he's hit the wall! Sonato has hit the wall, and that is his qualifying over. I was going to say, I forgot, it's not, full qualifying. Oh, Rocky's gone straight on at turn 1. That is not the right tyre to be on.
Yeah. So, wait, did he hit the pit wall on entry?
No, he seemed to have looped it on the traction. I'm not entirely sure. He was perpendicular with the wall, so I assume that was him going round on the traction. So I think we may see Rocky back into the pits, or he's gonna go back. Right. Yeah, he's gone straight on the hairpin as well. That is not the correct compound. I'll be very surprised if we don't see Rocky putting back into the pit lane here.
The rain seems to be easing off a bit, so in perhaps a couple of laps' time, that could be the right compound, as an AlphaTauri has looped it at turn 1. That was bleep, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's the only remaining AlphaTauri in this session, as we have witnessed the unfortunate early departure of Sonato from this qualifying session. The just lost the car, and it is a dry race. It will be a dry race, according to everything I have seen. It will be a dry race, so that is good for everyone on dry setups right now. Hearts is into the pits. I thought he was pushing. Kyle is 7/10 up on his previous best. That would put him around where his teammate is. Kyle can only go P4 though. Only 4/10 up by the end of the lap. His Mercedes teammate Teeks. I'm gonna call him Teeks. Yeah, the cars are on their dry setups, which is why they are all struggling. I think Teeks will be going out on the intermediate tyre. I'm also looking at the inters. So, the rain, it does not seem to be raining anymore. It may very soon be time for inters. I'm just not sure if it will be by the end of this session.
They might get perhaps one chance to get on the inters, but for now, the wet is still the better option.
Luke is
just
purple.
not going to clear the water fast enough.
Rocky is going back out on inters, but Luke is purple through the first sector, a 10th up on his previous best. Let's see what he can do on the remainder of this lap. He's gonna... He keeps it... Oh, and... Yeah, many cars are going back out on the inters, but Rocky has spun. It's 5/10 now, or 4.5 for Luke here, but he's not going to be able to get out again on the inters, so he's not going to get an inters run here. So he may be at a disadvantage compared to the others. Unless he comes in now, he's not going to get an inters run. He is not coming in, so Luke will not get an inters run in. I'm not sure if inters are the right call, but whether they are or not, he's not getting a run on them. But he goes fastest on the full wets. That is a 23.1. So the first of the inters runners is Rocky. Frosted Cheese behind him is on the wets. So Rocky just about to start his second intermediate run. Hopefully this one will go slightly better than the original. His first run, seeing him completely missing the breaking point for turn 1. He's very cautious through the final chicane, not wanting to end up in the Wall of Champions.
Kyle is currently 6/10 up on his lap time at the moment in the Mercedes. He's looking like he could be a contender for provisional pole position at the present moment.
But if inters are significantly faster, he is not on them. But as we're looking with Rocky, they don't appear to have the same level of grip as the full wets do. I think, but Rocky has improved by 1/10.5 in the first sector, but which will see him jump up the field, but not significantly enough. Kyle goes to pole position, or provisional pole, almost a second up. That's 7/10 to Luke's lap. Very nice lap there from Kyle. Maybe proving that the full wets are still competitive here. Rocky is now half a second up with the fastest middle sector that we've seen so far. What can Rocky do on the end of this flying lap? He's just got to keep it tidy through the final chicane, and it will be a very nice lap for him. Oh, I thought he was again been validated there. He took a lot of curb, but he's kept it within the white lines. Rocky to the line, puts in P5. We got Frosted Cheese still on the wets. Goes P3, jumping ahead of Rocky. Rodriguez just starting a flying lap now. Who do we have?
He's just put that up into P2, just 3/10 behind his teammate.
Yeah.
A good lap from the Mercedes. That'll be his last lap, especially his last lap, as he's just had a nice drift.
And Hart's coming up to the line now. Hart goes fastest on the intermediate tyre. That is very much the tyre to be on right now. Hart takes provisional pole. Oh, wow. I was not expecting that. Jay-Z goes third. I may be regretting what I said pre-race. Aparo is 1.7 seconds up on his previous best. Going into the final chicane. Surely he's just got to keep it in a straight line.
Could put him...
Oh, no, it's only P5. It's only P5. What can Luke do? He's not improving. So, the only person I think that can challenge Hearts is Rocky, who has been on the intermediate tyre for the longest. He's going to be going to through the bus stop chicane now. Can he displace the Haas? Can he put his Aston Martin on pole? No, he can't. It's only P7. Frosted Cheese has spun at the final corner. Rodriguez is, I think, the last driver to cross the line. He goes 8th. And Techies has invalidated, or Teeks has invalidated his lap. Wow. Apparently I have deaf and tech support. My bad. I just wasn't expecting that. Haas just stuck it on pole position against all the odds. Wow. So Hart then has stuck it on pole by 4/100ths of a second to Kyle on the full wet. Jay-Z in the second Haas in P3. Teeks in the second Mercedes in P4. So it's Haas, Mercedes. Then Aparo in the Ferrari on the Inters. Luke has got P6 with the wets. Rocky and P7 and P8. Then Om's Red Bull teammate Rodriguez, Frosted Cheese, Snato, Adam having that early crash, and then Bleep not setting a lap time. Wow, that was certainly some qualifying session. Alright, nice sunny skies here for the race.
So hopefully you should have 5 minutes to give us a Wikipedia rundown.
Have you seen the Tech Support podcast? Like, Tech Support stuck it on Insta of our podcast.
I did.
Yeah. I also accidentally deafened Tech Support by my exclamations of seeing that pole lap from Hearts. That was one of the worst voice cracks I've ever had. What should I? Alright, do you want to start doing stuff about the track then?
I will begin us off with the circuit Gilles Villeneuve is on Notre Dame Island in Montreal, Quebec, which is in Canada. It does host the Formula One Grand Prix. It's also hosted the World Sports Car Championship, Champ Car World Series, NASCAR's Xfinity Series, NASCAR Xfinity Series, and a Rolex Sports Car Championship, and a variety of other smaller single-seater events as well.
Someone readied up. We have a nice long Wikipedia break then, because someone's readied up apparently.
It says waiting for players, so...
No, Rodriguez readied up early. I think we're restarting.
We'll see. I can't believe Rodriguez did not want to hear our Discord.
Now, we're going to have a longer one when we're waiting for the new lobby. Assuming we go for a new lobby. Which we probably will.
We'll see.
Everyone ready, or do we want to restart? Let's see. Oh, there's been a collision. Or, no, they've just not gone. Snato and Adam haven't gone. I think... yeah, we're looking like a restart. Restart, ready. Car has left the session. Okay, we're restarting.
So, whilst I leave the session, let's get a little rundown. So, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve is 2.71 miles long, which is 4.361 kilometers long. It has 14... oh, I've got different track maps here. One says 13, one says 14.
Well, what's the difference?
Let me just try to find out. I don't understand where they differ. I'm comparing them right now.
Probably like count one of them will count a thing on the back straight or something.
Yes, so a little kink on the back straight is counted as a curb as a corner, sorry, not a curb, on here. It has changed names recently. The circuit is actually now a tribute to the late Jules Villeneuve, who lost his life in a rather violent crash at a different circuit. But yeah, it's in honour of his name. He was a Canadian racing driver. Did unfortunately was I I don't think he was a world champion.
No, he never was. He's only had the pace to, but he never was it.
Yeah.
But it was only his son Jacques that like
Yes.
honoured the family name in '97.
Indeed, he took a great championship win there. Um,
He also almost won
the
his first race, but then he had
yeah,
a car failure of
yes.
sorts, and it meant he lost it to his teammate Damon Hill.
So the updated version of the track that we are racing on at the moment does have 14 corners, and the lap record is actually held by Valtteri Bottas with a 13.078, which was in 2019. I think it's time I hand over to you, Numi,
Okay,
to go through some other stuff.
so I've got a list of Formula One drivers from Canada. So there's been 15 Formula One drivers from Canada, 4 of whom have scored points. Gilles Villeneuve, rated amongst the greatest drivers of all time, died during qualifying for his 68th race. His son Jacques won the World Drivers' Championship. I've just received an invite. He won the World Drivers' Championship in 1997. Canadian drivers were absent in Formula One since his departure in 2006. I swear he was racing. Wait, no, that's never mind. No, never mind. Until the arrival of Lance Stroll in 2017. So there have been 15 drivers. They've entered 397 Grand Prix. Let me just invite people quickly. They've started 454. They have a best season finish of first in 97. Canada has had 39 podiums, 16 pole positions, 17 fastest laps, 589 points. Their first race was the 1961 US Grand Prix. Their first win was the 1978 Canadian Grand Prix. Their first win, their most recent win, was the 1997 Luxembourg Grand Prix. And not in where would that have been? That was
In
in
Luxembourg.
Nürburgring. Their latest entry was last race at the 2023 British Grand Prix. Although if you're counting XLR, their latest entry was right now with Snato. Okay, current drivers. They got Lance Stroll, and that's it. But more recently, they've had Nicholas Latifi, who made a name for himself, not exactly in the most positive way. And then also slightly influenced a world championship. Only slightly. Wikipedia knowledge for the 4th round in a row. We love our Wikipedia. It's the best way to. There's a whole podcast about it on the Instagram, which you guys should definitely check out. So their most successful driver in terms of wins is Jacques Villeneuve, followed by Gilles, and then that's their only 2 race winners. For podiums, it's those 2, then Lance Stroll, who has 3, and then everyone else with 0. Most entries is Jacques, followed by Lance Stroll, followed by Gilles Villeneuve, and then Nicholas Latifi, 7 entries behind him. And their first driver was Peter Ryan, who only entered 1 race. Their most recent new driver was Nicholas Latifi, who sadly isn't on the grid anymore. Do we have a run in? Can we go? I don't think so. Who are we missing though? Because I feel like we're missing someone. I just can't work out who. Rodriguez. That's who. The second Red Bull. Alright, so we are approaching Wait, he's left the server. No, he hasn't. He's not left the server. Or has he? There's nothing in the good... No, he's still here. He's not left. Alright, he's back. Right. We should hopefully be starting before too long and we no longer have to resort to reading off Wikipedia. We don't have to continue the podcast anymore. Oh yeah, but then Al Peace, one of the worst drivers in history. No offense, but it's true. He's entered 3 Grand Prix. Two of them were his... All 3 of them were his home Grand Prix in Canada, in fact. And one of them, he was disqualified for being too slow. I can't... I'm trying to find an actual thing about him. I know it happened. 1969, I believe. Let's see if I can find it. While we're just waiting. Search Wikipedia. 1969 Canadian Grand Prix. I need to... One of the entrants, Al Peace, in an Eagle Climax became the only Formula 1 driver in history to be disqualified for driving too slowly. There we go. It did happen. I knew it did, I just couldn't find a source for it. There we go. Right. Hopefully no one readies up this time. I'm not entirely sure if Solid is still here. He's...
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he is. I don't know if you were here or not, so...
I'm just enjoying the Wikipedia stuff.
Yeah, so what I was saying to you earlier did in fact happen. He was disqualified for being too slow.
Yes. Yeah, the Nigel Mansell stall on the last lap, I believe.
Yeah, it was at the hairpin. Like he was celebrating too early because it was like 20 something seconds clear, and then he went too slowly and the revs got too low and he stalled the engine and lost the race.
Yeah,
that
wouldn't have been a fun debrief.
I'm pretty sure Jacques Villeneuve won the race because of that. I'm not entirely sure.
That would have been...
I'm pretty sure he had led the entire race to that point as well. That would be slightly suboptimal.
And it looks like someone might have readied up.
Oh dear.
There is only so many Wikipedia articles we can go through, but I think
yeah,
everyone's
someone
ready,
readied
so
up.
I'm going to give the race Om's left.
Again. I imagine we're going to go now because the original start time was 8:10 and it's 8:09. Thumbs up if ready to go. Okay, I think everyone is saying yes. I think we are, in fact, going on time.
Indeed. So, going through the order that will be starting on this dry, sunny Canadian afternoon. Haas on the mediums along with Kyle and Jay-Z. Kyle in a bit of a Haas sandwich there. I'm sure he'd like to become the bread rather than the filling. But his teammate Teeks on the soft compound tyres to start. That could be quite interesting when tyre wear starts to kick in. Of course, we are finally back to equal tyre wear after the shenanigans at the start of the game. Someone's just hit the wall, I can hear it. Aparo then, also known as Blitz, on the hard compound tyres in the Ferrari, going for the long game. Luke on the mediums in the McLaren. Rocky on the softs as well. He'll be looking to make his way up the order very early on. The 2 Red Bulls, P8 and P9, both on the medium and compound tyres, whereas Frosted Cheese, Sinato and Adam also selecting the mediums, and Bleep, who unfortunately is right at the back of the grid, On the hards, as there's Frosted Cheese, who's had a little spin on the formation lap and hit the wall. Of course, there's no damage on the formation lap, luckily for them. But then that is the race order done before we have 35 laps around this fantastic Canadian Grand Prix, a fan favourite circuit. Certainly not the greatest track for overtaking, but
It's
a
not
fun
bad.
track nonetheless.
It's not that bad. Like, there's the long straights where you can follow, but some of the braking zones aren't ideal because there's quite a lot of fast corners. But
And the
it's
chicanes. If you get side by side, it can be fun, but not the fastest.
Kyle
let
and
you
a
take away
Paro have been disqualified. Om's AI will line him up nicely. I have invited Om back, but Adam has also got disqualified. Oh dear, I hope that's a bugged message. But here we go to 5 red lights for the Canadian Grand Prix. That's lights out and away we go. So really good start from Teeks there. Cars seem bogged down. It's the House 1-2 into turn 1. Hearts takes the lead of the race from Jay-Z, Teeks, and then oh dear, there's been 2 disqualifications. I don't think that's their fault. Teeks trying to get past Jay-Z. Kyle down to 4th from 2nd. Then
Huge incident in the back.
oh wow,
2 Alpha Tauris and a Ferrari.
both Ferraris
Drivers
as well. Wait, no.
Because that's Adam and Blitz disqualified,
Yeah.
and then Frosted Cheese involved in that
How is
incident
that
with the 2
only a
Alpha
virtual
Tauris.
safety car? I caught.
The safety car is. It looks like it's coming out, so it should be a full safety
Yeah,
car.
it is. Yeah. Safety car. Wait, the safety car's on track, but it's a virtual. The safety car is on the track, and it is a full. It's a visual bug. The marshal boards around the track say SC, so it's just a visual bug with our comms, I think.
Yes. People calling for a restart.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
too
they got
sure.
disqualified off the line, which is a known bug.
Yeah.
It is a known bug that if you get disqualified, you can be disqualified from the race.
And now it's changed to a full safety car.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what is going to happen now. We will have to wait and see. But then I think the Ferrari Frosted Cheese. Actually, I don't think he's got much. If he's got much or any damage at all. Oh no, he's missing a front left end plate. Is the Ferrari, so he'll use the safety car to pit, possibly onto the hard compound tyres.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, looking at the incidents. Yeah, Adam and Aparo got disqualified for reversing off the start, which they didn't do. It is a bug with the game that often if you get disqualified on the formation lap, it will randomly disqualify you. I don't think there will be a restart, unfortunately, for the guys at the back or those who have been unfairly disqualified.
Yes, of course, the guys who are currently in P1 and P2 do not want that restart. Sonato's actually. Oh, he's doing
he's not entirely happy. He was caught up in that incident. Yeah, they were caught up in that big crash at on the run to turn 3. So we still have Hearts out front. I'm slightly scared by this fact because I said if he wins I'll do a shoey.
With what in the shoe?
Not alcohol because I'm 13.
That's the politically correct response.
Yeah, so I don't particularly feel like doing that. So
I mean, if it's in your own home, as long as you're 6 years old, you're fine. Maybe 11 months.
oh,
I
I don't know.
It's young.
But I'd still rather not. Have a nice shot of all the flags in the crowd there. See Canadian, Brazil, France, Quebec. All those wonderful flags. I'm really running out of things to talk about that I'm talking about the flags. Adam is not particularly happy by the fact that we haven't restarted. I mean, don't exactly blame him that he got screwed over by the game, but... yeah, so we're going for... safety car probably won't be in this lap. But maybe next. Maybe next. Yeah, safety car... I believe the safety car will have already said it will be in... no, safety car is in this lap, never mind. I was mistaken. Alright, so Hart is controlling the pace. Is going to be closely hunted down by his teammate Jay-Z, but they... Frosted Cheese has just passed Rocky. I'm not entirely sure what's happened to Rocky, but he's gone back past the Ferrari. Hartz will be dictating the pace then until the line. When's he gonna go? Is he gonna go early? Is he gonna go late? He's going through the chicane. He goes now. No, he doesn't. I thought he was. Yeah, Hartz goes. Seems to be a pretty good restart from Kyle. No one can challenge Hartz into turn 1. Teeks is gonna look to get past Jay-Z when possible. I'm looking for a move on Luke, but nothing coming of it. Oh, what is that? What just happened? Hart took off into the air, got hit by his teammate Jay-Z. That is most likely Hart's internet coming into play. Jay-Z is into the lead in Canada.
Well, that's a flying overtake, if I've ever seen one. And now look at Teeks on the inside of Haas. He's struggling a little bit. Of course, Teeks on those soft compound tyres is going to be a little bit faster off the restart.
I think it was Jay-Z went under Hart. I'm not entirely sure. If someone could clip that, that'd be amazing. If someone clip that, please. I want to see that back. Om's AI is falling like a stone. Om wants an invite, as I can tell from the fact that he's spamming me with invites. So Jay-Z still is out front from Hart. Could you stop inviting me, please? That'd be lovely. Teeks is going to try and get past the Haas drivers. Oh, he's gone a bit too deep there, but he's kept it out of the back of the Haas. Rodriguez a bit out of shape as he tries to get past Luke here, but he can't do it for the time being. Teeks has a lot more grip than Hart at this stage in the race on those soft tyres compared to the mediums. Oh no, he's looped it! I think that was contact with Kyle. I think the two Mercedes might have made contact there. Teeks has spun down to the back of the field. And that is going to be a big sigh of relief for Hart, so he was pressuring him hard. But now he's got the other Mercedes of Kyle on the back of him. And he's got to try and hold him off for the time being. See, Hartz is out of ERS already. Not entirely sure how he's done that. Jay-Z still on 50%, Kyle on 35%. Hartz has not got the best of exits here. Kyle could be going for the move. It's the fastest lap of the race from Kyle. Takes a look to the inside, but he backs out of it. Rodriguez is facing the wrong way at the first corner. Not quite sure what's happened there, as Hart has spun from second place, and that has got Luke up onto the podium. Hart's down to 7th. Again, I just missed that. That is unfortunate. Carl has picked up a time penalty already. That is not what he'd want. So he's going to want to clear Jay-Z as quickly as possible with this time penalty. Well, it's been a pretty chaotic first 6 laps here. Carl's still improving on his personal fastest lap, which is also the fastest lap of the race. He's going to want to get past Jay-Z for the lead. Rocky has picked up a time penalty, another Mercedes-powered car. Can Kyle get past Jay-Z into the final corner? No, he can't. But he's going to try and get the exit on him. And can he get past into turn 1 instead here? He's got a good run on Jay-Z. Can he go to the inside? No, he can't. It's the first lap of the race from Luke here. Kyle is looking a lot faster than Jay-Z. Is he going to go for it into turn 3? No, he's not. Kyle not looking to end his race at the beginning. Right. So Jay-Z, is Kyle going to be able to go for it this time around? He's going to try and gut the inside. He can't make it. Jay-Z goes a tiny bit deep, but keeps it within the white lines. Is Kyle going to send it into the hairpin? He's not. He's looking seriously fast compared to the Haas though. But he needs to also remember about the McLaren on his rear of Luke. Here goes Kyle. He can't get past Jay-Z this time around. Again, he's going to try and get the move into turn 1. I think Jay-Z might have hit the wall there, actually. There doesn't appear to be any damage on the Haas driver. But Kyle goes around the outside. Oh, there's a bit of contact. Bit of wheel banging. But Kyle makes his way up into the race lead. And Luke is looking to follow him through. He can't make it this time around. He's going to... There's a yellow flag. That is Rocky, who has gone around at the second corner. It is a very difficult traction zone there, so I don't exactly blame him. Kyle draining his battery to get past Jay-Z there. And that is yet another yellow flag again for Rocky. Oh, he's almost gone around again. He's really struggling with those soft tyres. Looks like he's struggling with the temperature on them. Well, been a pretty hectic first quarter or so of the race. Here goes Luke on Jay-Z. Rocky is spun again. Luke is up into second place here. He's going to try and hunt down Kyle for the race lead. And Frosted Cheese might try to join into this battle before too long. Alright, so Rocky is quite likely to pull into the pits this time. I'd be quite surprised if he doesn't, considering the state that his tyres appear to be in. So Luke 1.5 seconds off Kyle as it stands, but he just gained like 2.5 tenths. Wow. Oh, Luke may be... Yeah, Rocky is into the pits for the hard compound of tyre. I'm not sure if Solid is still here. He hasn't talked for a while.
Yes, sorry,
okay, you are.
Sorting out some problems.
Yeah, don't worry. Alright. Kyle still just over a second clear of Luke there. Luke getting a bit loose on the rear, so is Jay-Z. Shows how hard they're pushing to try and gain the positions. Trying to gain the time, but there's a bit of a mistake from Luke on the rear. It's gonna try and do that. That is having spun around at the final corner on the traction of the Wall of Champions. Kyle, 2 seconds clear now. Luke's pit window is open. Maybe, has he damaged those tyres? I'm not sure. But he's got the blue light on his dial, which means his strategy is to pit this lap. So let's see if he actually does what that is saying. Or whether he just... Or whether he's going to overwrite his strategy. Let's see. Luke is coming up to the pit lane. Luke is not coming in this lap as Frosted Cheese gets past Jay-Z. The factory team Ferrari gets past the customer Ferrari and up into third place onto the podium here. Let's see what Frosted Cheese can do. That's a mistake again from Jay-Z. Very similar to what Luke did the previous lap. Teeks is trying to recover his way up the field despite that earlier spin. And Rocky a little way behind, having made that early pit stop after his multiple spins. Kyle is still out front by 2 seconds. Kyle just... Oh, there's a yellow flag. That is Rocky gone round again. It's not been going Rocky's way here today. But Kyle is still going out front. Luke's still on those tyres despite having that blue light on his steering wheel. Or you will see it on his dial. So let's say Om and Hearts are looking to be battling at the back. Battling for the grand total of 7th, also known as the 1 million jelly beans that Sebastian Vettel won. I mean, it is points to be fair, so it's not that worthless. But it's not many.
Okay, I am back.
Right. Yeah, so car is still out at the front of the field. So it's been a pretty good race so far for Kyle. He may have made a collision with his teammate, I'm not sure. If he did, that would be a penalty his way. Oh, that's a slide for Luke coming out of the final corner. Frosted Cheese still in P3, but at a moderate gap to Jay-Z, that being actually a bigger gap than I thought. That's just 2.5 seconds roughly to the Haas behind him, and the other Haas is in a battle with Om for 7th place. Om goes to the inside, Hart just about leaves enough space, and Om has to back out of it. It's unlucky so far for Hart. Starting on pole here, somehow. I think he was slightly just as surprised as we are. As it's... Oh no, there's Monza between us and Japan. I thought... I forgot that Monza happened. I was going to say it's 2 Haas poles in a row, but it wasn't. Because there was Tier 1 Monza between us and Japan.
Yeah, unfortunately. Otherwise it would have been.
Yeah. Spoiled my statistic. How dare they? How dare we host another race? Right. So Kyle's still going. And so is Luke, despite having this light on his dash. Implying that he told the team to pit a while ago. But he still hasn't. Which is interesting. Maybe
so Haas going... Sorry to interrupt. Haas going onto the softs. That is interesting.
Yeah, I think he was hoping, thinking that he's not going to go to the end on hards. Might just as well get as much pace as he can off those tyres after that spin. I'm not sure if it was spin or contact with Kyle. Because if it was contact, then Kyle may have had 2 pieces of contact with 2 separate people, which would not be good for him. There may have No, there was contact between him and Teeks, but I'm not sure if it was contact that made Teeks go round or whether it's contact after he was already half round, because I only saw it when he was half round. But and there may or may not have been contact with Hearts. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I do think the soft compound tyres were probably not the right decision. Even if he was going for a two-stop, it'd be better to. It's always better to use the softer compounds at the end because you can get a lot more out of them. You can take them longer. But it'll be interesting to see how he can bounce back from that.
Yeah, possibly. But we did have the wet qualifying and the restart, so he'll have plenty of soft sets to be used.
Indeed, as Om is just pulling into the pit lane at the moment.
Going on to the
hard
hards.
compound tyres.
Yeah. So this is probably the first of many pit stops coming in the coming laps, as we have passed the halfway point in this race. Let's see whether we will see the Mercedes pulling into the pits this lap. He hasn't said he's going to pit. He doesn't have that blue light on his dial. But
No, nobody else has at the moment, unfortunately.
Luke still does, but he's had that for the pretty much the entire race. So
on my screen, he doesn't have a blue.
I don't know. He does for me. Maybe that's just bugged.
Oh, that's not what.
I don't know.
I'm literally comparing it to stream on my screen, but okay. Anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, car's got a red light, which means Teeks is in the pits now, going on to the hard compound of tyre. I just noticed.
Nice to pit stop from Mercedes.
Yeah, I just noticed the red light for Carl, which means teammates in the pits. Pit box full. So we may see Kyle in. Well, I was about to say that we're past the halfway point. We're not. Halfway point is in a lap and a half time, or around that point. Half a lap into lap 38, it would be. Yes, not 38. 18 would be the halfway point in this race. So drivers will be looking to pit some point around there, probably slightly before if they're going on to the hard tyre. Carl stays out for another lap as... No, Luke is finally into the pit. I'd say finally because I've been thinking he's coming into the pits every lap. Frosted Cheese also in.
Frosted Cheese.
And
Jay-Z
Jay-Z.
also in.
Yep.
So Teeks will... He's not going to regain control.
Luke is going on to the soft tyre. That is a two-stop strategy then for Luke.
It is.
Unless he can somehow drag those tyres to the end.
If he does, he'll get... He can take my job as commentator, I think, if he manages to take those softs that long.
I learned earlier that sometimes your words can backfire. Carl may be looking to come into the pits this lap. Although it's showing me... Oh, Jay-Z and Teeks coming out practically side by side. Teeks ahead of Jay-Z now. Despite that earlier spin. Teeks with the warmer tyres. Although Jay-Z with the slightly fresher tyres. Although I doubt one lap will make too much difference. So now we may see Carl in this lap. He is draining almost all of his battery. He is draining all of it.
Blue light's on for me.
Yep.
He is into the pit lane.
Yep, in comes Kyle from the race lead. Does not speed on in the pit lane. He's going to hope for a clean and tidy stop. Although that is a fastest middle sector of the race from Luke. He is pushing here on this soft tyre. Trying to go for the undercut on the Mercedes. Kyle going onto the hard tyre. As Luke picks up his... Is that his second of the race? I believe it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Luke is ahead of Kyle, but Kyle gets to cut pretty much the entire chicane. Kyle does come out ahead of Luke, but only just.
Fresh softs as well. I'd expect him to be passed at the end of this lap.
Yeah, he probably will.
But of course he'll have to pit again, so
yeah.
Kyle's got a net 20-second lead really.
And Kyle will be reeling him in the latter stages when his tyres start to go off. Kyle is not fighting it any more than he has to. Although Luke tucks in behind, clearly wants the DRS for the long back straight into the final chicane. Kyle is not fighting him here. He's letting Luke go to the inside. Luke moves up into the race lead, but he will have to stop again. Kyle wise to not fight that one. Not wanting to cost himself any more time than he has to. Knowing that Luke will have to make that second stop.
And further back for the battle for P4, Jay-Z currently fending off Teeks at the moment, but Teeks with DRS assistance makes an easy move past the Haas driver and up into P4.
Yeah, we got no other battles really. I had Luke posting the fastest lap of the race last time around. A couple tenths clear of the previous. No, not a couple tenths, a couple hundredths. Wait, would that have been on his outlap? It would have been as well. So setting the fastest lap on his outlap just shows how fast that tyre is. Although on your outlap at Canada you do gain quite a lot of time from not taking the chicane. As Luke has got another time penalty.
9 seconds worth of penalties at the moment, so he's got to make up a 6-second gap to Kyle.
Oh wow.
Before he can even consider that he is in a point of leading this race, and he'll have to probably make another pit stop. So it's not really going the way of the McLaren at the moment.
So he exceeded track limits 9 times then.
It's quite easy to do around this Canadian Grand Prix
Yeah.
circuit. As now we could actually see Teeks under some pressure from Jay-Z, who has made a little bit of in the Haas. The Mercedes will pretty much be powerless to defend against the DRS assistance, but they're going to go wheel to wheel into the bus stop chicane. Jay-Z is going to come out on top of that one. Teeks did not fight too hard. Jay-Z is going to get a double helping of DRS and retains that P4 place.
Yeah. So we still have Luke in front, but that 9-second time penalty, 6 more than Kyle behind him, is really going to put a spanner in the works, especially if we get a late safety car. If we get a late safety car, Luke's race could be screwed. Hartz is back into the pits off those soft compound tyre. He's going on to a set of mediums then, which should get him to the end.
Yeah, indeed. So Haas's tyres actually lasted him 13 laps. So Luke perhaps has because of course he's going to be on lower fuel whilst he's doing it. We'll say he's perhaps got 11 laps. He might have maybe 11 laps left in that tyre. He's going to be pitting right at the end if he goes just as long. But he could actually stretch it. He could probably stretch these tyres to the end.
But by the end of the race, he will be getting reeled in by Kyle. Especially considering how
100%.
Especially considering how fast he's gone on those tyres. Like the 3 fastest laps in a row is gonna thwart those tyres.
But but he can probably make it to the end.
Yeah.
Now.
But he'll have very high tyre wear. I'm not sure what level Hartz would have had on his tyres when he came in, but it won't be too low. Teeks has got himself past Jay-Z, as that's all been going on into the last chicane, as they've been doing for the last couple of laps.
Indeed,
and Kyle picks up his second time penalty of the race. That will make him vulnerable to Frosted Cheese, who is now only a net 2 tenths behind the Mercedes driver. So
he's got to be careful.
Yeah, and Luke's disadvantage has dropped to 3 seconds compared to Kyle.
So both are actually lapping in the 13s at the moment. Kyle was sort of last lap was a 13.7, 13.7, 13.8 the lap before, whereas Luke is only on a.
Jay-Z picked up a penalty there.
Yeah, Luke was on very similar lap time to Kyle last time round on the softs already. That just shows how fast they go off.
Yeah. Watching Jay-Z on board there, he couldn't get past Teeks for probably the first time in many laps that they've broken their streak of passing and repassing each other. Then trying to gain a bit too much time on the Mercedes driver, went over the curb, and that is where he picked up that time penalty for... Why am I saying it like that? Picked up that time penalty for multiple warnings. So Luke's now still staying about 2 seconds in front, and that gap from Kyle is now up to 7 seconds now. So I think Kyle's not wanting to hang around with that second time penalty. Interesting how many warnings some of the other drivers have. So we're looking at 2 warnings for Frosted Cheese, so he's on the brink of a penalty. Whereas Teeks does not have a single warning yet. At this stage in the race, sitting in P4 here, without a single warning, only 3 seconds behind Frosted Cheese, could bring him onto the podium by the end of the race, assuming Frosted Cheese picks up a time penalty for himself, which he's only 1 warning away from doing so. So, as we've seen a few times in Canada, track limits are one of the key factors in the race here. As just one slight mistake can turn your race on its head. I want to see what lap times Hart is doing on those. So Luke on that last lap did a 13.9. Kyle did a 13.7 with his personal best lap of the race. And Hart's on fresh tyres did a 14.4. That just shows how fast Luke and Kyle are going. And they're basically matching each other's pace.
Yeah, for the first time in quite a while actually, Jay-Z's dropped out of the DRS of Teeks, so the Mercedes finally breaking away from the Haas a bit.
Yeah, it's been coming for a few laps. Each lap, Teeks has been getting further and further away from him down the DRS straight.
Yeah, indeed. So that gap up front is sort of hovering around the same. Both
It's coming down a bit though. It was 1.9 at the start of the lap, and now it's down to 1.6. So possibly Luke's tyres are starting to fall off. He's got to do another, 11 laps at the end of this one.
He's gonna be absolutely screaming in pain if he decides to stay out on those tyres, and he might even fall out of the podium contention.
He's coming in now.
9 seconds of penalties. Yeah, I think that's a sensible choice, coming in a little earlier and, and have enough laps to use your fresh
Probably
tyres.
be 10 laps on the mediums from here, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
indeed it is. It is the medium compound of tyre. Opting for the 2-stopper, going on to a set of medium tyres, which, like, his soft didn't quite last him 7 laps without starting to lose performance. So hopefully his mediums, or hopefully for him, his mediums will get him the remaining, 10 at the end of this? Like 10.5, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he is about 2 seconds behind Jay-Z, or 1.7 now behind Jay-Z. Look how fast he's gaining on the Haas car. He's already gained about half a second. Yeah, quite some impressive pace, so I expect him to set some fastest laps. That's the benefit of fresh tyres and a fast driver. And now Kyle leads by 6.9 seconds. He could be under a bit of pressure. Oh, gap hovering around a second. He's got to make sure he makes no mistakes, otherwise he will find himself into the clutches of Frosted Cheese.
But Frosted Cheese does have 2 warnings, so Frosted Cheese is on the brink of a time penalty.
Yeah, indeed.
Kyle is looking at maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 warnings. So I don't think Kyle has picked up a single warning since that time penalty. So I think Kyle is taking it conservative from here.
Yeah, I think that's the best choice to make, especially if your opponent's got 1 warning. And look at that, Luke under traction, already ahead, going into turn 3.
Wow.
Good move from Luke. You found the traction really well.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch that, but it just shows how much of an advantage fresh tyres can be. He's going to start hunting down Kyle and Teeks in the coming laps. The gap to Kyle is currently 13 seconds, so he has to be roughly 2 seconds a lap faster to catch him, let alone get past, as that is Rocky facing the wrong way, but he's kept it out of the barriers.
Yeah, so we're just going to have a quick look at the lap time that Kyle does. Lap 26, he does a 14.2. Luke, let's see exactly. He needs to be doing really...
Luke did a 15.3, but that was his outlap.
A 13.2. That's probably not going to be enough.
Yeah.
And he does also have 3 seconds worth of time penalties to add on to that gap, but he could find, and he's also got to get through 2 other cars as well. So it's looking comfortable for Kyle.
Yeah.
And he's now 7.6, a little bit more comfortable. I'm sure for Kyle.
It's a similar situation to what we found ourselves in last weekend, of possibly the fastest driver on track going for the 2-stopper instead of the 1-stopper that everyone else has done, and then having to hunt his way back to the positions he was in, although potentially unsuccessfully, like it was last weekend in Miami. In the event of a safety car, both Kyle and Luke could be in trouble because of their time penalties, but I think Luke would lose out the most though. Well, he would he would gain that time back, but then also Kyle would get a free pit stop on him.
Harsnom having a little battle for P7.
Oh, and Rocky
P8
is round again.
Yeah, those two having a good old scrap.
Oh, that's a bit late.
Is that Rodriguez without a front wing? Oh no, on without a front wing coming into the pit lane.
Possibly.
That's perhaps why he's been that's why Haas was actually pressuring him.
Yeah.
So unfortunately losing his front wing, he should go on to the end of the race, unless he doesn't have any left, but that's unlikely. Yeah, he has gone. No, he's gone into mediums.
No, that's soft. That's soft for him.
Oh, it is soft. Oh, and Rocky's round again.
Yet again. It's been an unfortunate race from Rocky. I think what he's just got to do in the remaining laps is keep his wheel on the car. If he loses his tyre, that will put basically all his race progress into the bin, and he does not want that.
Yes, he will definitely be scoring points.
Yeah.
Scoring 2 points. As long as he finishes. That gap's come down again between Kyle and Frosted Cheese. It's back down to 7 seconds.
But I think Kyle should be able to hold on here, but I'm not entirely sure. We're just going to have to wait and see. It's now back up to 7.3 seconds, so I think it swings from sector to sector. Kyle appears to be a lot faster in the first sector, but then Frosted Cheese seems to gain it back. Haas is now making a move on Rodriguez, who is also in. Rodriguez not changing a wing though, only going onto the soft tyre, unlike his Red Bull teammate. As we have Luke right on the back of Teeks. He'll have the DRS and he goes for it early into the hairpin, not waiting to stick around for the slipstream. Teeks gets a bit loose on the rear, and that is Luke up into 3rd place. But he has to pass Frosted Cheese, then pass Kyle, and then pull 3 seconds. And he only has 6 laps to do so at the end of this one.
Yeah, that's a lot to ask for, I think.
Yeah.
Even though he does pull off a fastest lap there, I feel like he might get very, very close to Kyle, but he's going to struggle to pull that 3-second gap unless there's a little bit of an incident between the two of them.
And he's also going to struggle with the tyre wear as well. So the tyre wear on that mediums will be increasing a lot faster than that of the hards. Although this battle here, Kyle's going to be licking his lips at the possibility of Frosted Cheese and Luke engaging in a battle here. Although it may just be a simple DRS pass like we've seen so many times. Luke is going to go for the inside into the hairpin, as he's been doing all weekend long. Although he might have slightly misjudged this one. He gets it stopped nicely. And then he gets the DRS too. Luke has got past a Paro. Not a Paro. A Paro's out. Frosted Cheese with ease. And now he's got to close down that 7-second gap to the Mercedes of Kyle. Kyle's going to hope that he can close the DRS gap quickly so Frosted Cheese doesn't get dragged along, because then he may lose out on time penalties. But Kyle's still 6 seconds clear and 7.3, and Frosted Cheese gets that penalty that's been looking likely for a while, and that, as it stands, will drop him off the podium. And actually, as it stands, we are looking at a potential Mercedes 1-2 here after time penalties are applied. Because Luke has that 9-second time penalty, Rocky picks up a time penalty, and Teague's gap to Luke is around 3 seconds.
Teague could be in for a good old result here.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to wait and see for the checkered flag in a few laps' time for what is going to happen there. Rodriguez picks up a time penalty for exceeding track limits then.
Yeah.
He is now up to 6 seconds as well. Just 2 drivers yet to take penalties for exceeding track limits then.
Yeah. Although for Cheeks it may make a huge difference to his race. For Hart's, less so, as he's currently 26 seconds behind the next car. It's been a bit of a lonely one for Hart since clearing the Red Bulls. He's 10 seconds clear of Rodriguez, but 26 seconds behind his Haas teammate. It's not been the greatest of races from him after that pole position, as he had that early spin, and then it was never quite the same race for him. Dropping back on performance as Rocky clocks in the fastest lap of the race, looking for that bonus point on the soft compound of tyre. Kyle going around to start lap 33 of 35, and Luke has got to be about 2 seconds a lap faster, including passing Kyle, to win this race. We've got 3 laps to go, the gap is at 3 seconds, and he has 3 seconds of extra time penalty. As Teeks goes for third there on Frosted Cheese, Teeks will have to lose another 4.5 seconds to Luke in order to lose that second place position. Or if he's seriously quick enough, he could displace his teammate and steal the win from him.
Yeah, Teeks has got no warnings at all.
Yeah.
Luke, I think, has got... last time I checked, he had 10 warnings. He had 2 more to go. Yeah, he's still on 10 warnings. So, he's still got a couple to go before he picks up another time penalty. But I'll keep an eye on the
and
gap
Kyle
to the leader.
Kyle still only has 6. So Kyle has not got a single warning since that second penalty. I think he's toned it down a bit when he realised that he's got that advantage out front. Luke is now only 2 seconds behind, on pits, seemingly for the fastest lap, going on to a fresh set of soft tyres. And he's come out at a really bad time for Kyle. He's come out alongside the Red Bull. He moves out of the way quickly. And then he's going to give the DRS to Luke, which will help him along in his race, assuming he doesn't try and get past Kyle.
He is ghosted anyway.
Yeah, because he's a lap down. Teeks is now only 6.7 seconds behind his Mercedes teammate.
Yeah, that gap is coming down quite rapidly.
we could see Teak stealing the race win away from Kyle in the dying stages. It's now only 6.1 seconds. Kyle has done everything right this race. It'll be such a shame to see him lose it on time penalties. It's now only 6 seconds. It's now under 6 seconds. Kyle is going to want to use the DRS of Luke, who will go past him here into turn 1. Kyle's going to hope he can get dragged along with the... Oh no! Teeks is out! At the final corner!
Wall of Champions.
Oh no! I just caught... cut to that. That is going to be devastating for him. And now...
He was
Oh
in a
no.
race-winning position.
He was. Oh no. So now all Kyle has to do is not lose 1.3 seconds in 2 sectors to Luke. And he's also going to have the DRS from Om to help him along. It's now 2.1 seconds. There's no way you can lose 9/10 in the final sector, right, Kyle? It's going to be...
Please don't.
Don't go and lose this in the last sector. But with only 2.3 seconds now, and the DRS for Kyle, it will be Luke coming through the final chicane. And it's going to be Luke who takes the flag, crosses the line first, but it's going to be, on with the fastest lap, Kyle, who wins here in Canada due to having less time penalties. Frosted Cheese comes home in P3, and then Jay-Z will come P4 eventually, and then we have to wait an awfully long time until we get Hearts across the line. Oh, I feel so bad for Teeks, man. It was his first race and he was in a race-winning position. Oh,
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him, but he has shown us he has fantastic pace here in XLR. And we'll wait to see what he can do in next time out.
Oh no. So Hart comes across the line from Rodriguez, on with the fastest lap, getting that bonus point. Unless Rocky can do anything about it, Rocky picks up a time penalty for multiple warnings as he goes. Can Rocky snatch the fastest lap away? I don't think he did.
Wow, so actually Kyle, he lost
Yeah.
sound with 2 laps to go, which is not fun.
Oh, Kyle. Victorious then. It was really a battle of the time penalties out there today. Kyle, from the front row, secures... I believe it's his first win in XLR. I'm not sure. Anyway. Kyle is victorious here in Canada from Luke. It was a battle of the time penalties, and Luke had more. Frosted Cheese keeping his cool, getting P3. Jay-Z and Hart from third and first, unable to convert it to a podium, but still solid points for the Haas drivers. Rodriguez and Om following them, and Om managing to steal the fastest lap at the end, and then Rocky at the final finisher, although Teeks was classified. So I think Teeks will still get points.
Yeah, I think that'll be down to what happens in the stewards room. I think more than anything, if they decide that he's allowed it. But I think he certainly deserves it. He drove a fantastic race today. To unfortunately have a crash.
Yeah, for me, driver of the day, probably Kyle. He kept his cool throughout the race, despite knowing he had 2 fast drivers pushing on him.
I think for me, I'd go for Frosted Cheese.
Yeah.
Since he had his little incident at the start.
Oh
and
yeah,
was
he
still
did.
able to make his way
to the front and finish in the podium positions. So that is who
Yeah.
I'm going to nominate.
For me, like Kyle, he had his teammate looking like he was gonna beat him. He had, and then he also had Luke to worry about as well. And then Frosted Cheese was a worry for him at other points. It was a very composed race. Like after that second time penalty, he turned his race around. Oh wow, that was a very chaotic race. I still feel incredibly bad for the guys that were not able to even start the race after the formation of that bug. But that is it for this race then, guys. Thank you to everyone watching the stream, and we will see you tomorrow evening for Tier 1 action where we are racing in Qatar, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Qatar.
I believe so.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next stream.